Jelas Mil, suaraku Mil?
Jelas, jelas Kak, jelas.
Oke, sip. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Hello, we are from Group 2, and the member of our group are Citra Utami as the first speaker, Milda Sari as the second speaker, and Santi as the third speaker. Okay, in this whole opportunities, we would like to discuss about our materials is language testing. And our focus in our presentations is we would like to know more about subjective tests. Okay, without further ado, so please welcome Citra Utami as the first speaker. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, at the last meeting, we have learned about task, the definition of task. And in this whole opportunities, we would like to know more about subjective task. According to Arikunto 2016, the task is divided into two forms. They are objective task and subjective task. So what is the definition of subjective task? Okay, according to Arikunto in 2009, subjective task or SI task is a kind of learning progress which needed a deliberative answer or words description. The characteristic of questions is begin with words like explain, why, how, compare, conclude, and others. In other ways, Sukardi 2008 state that the subjective task is a form of written task, which consists of questions items, each of which has a problems and the answer from the explanation given by the thinking minds. Okay, next is um, Hidayat in 2000 and in 2000 in 1994 state that subjective task is a task whose answer requires students to remember, organize, and integrate the knowledge they have learned in a series of sentences or statements that are organized. So Arikunto in 2009 has concluded that subjective tasks require students to be able to remember and recognize again and must have a high creativity. Okay, there are two types of subjective tasks. They are short answer questions and essay questions. According to Arifin, 2019, I'm sorry, I mean that 2009, he said that subjective tasks can be divided into two forms. They are restricted response items and extended response items. So what is short answer questions? Okay, short answer questions are open-ended questions that require students to create an answer. They are commonly used in examinations to assess the basic knowledge. You must remember, you have to remember. The short answer questions commonly used in examination to assess the basic knowledge and understanding of a topic before more in-depth assessment. Okay, before more in-depth assessment questions are asked on the topic. Okay, next. So how about the structure of short answer questions? Okay, the first rule is the short answer questions don't have a common structure. Questions may require answers such as complete the sentence, supply the missing words, short, descriptive, or qualitative answer. For example, like this. She fill the blank. Yeah. She blank 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 live in Batu Raja since 2001. So the correct answer is has. Yeah, the correct answer is has. We have to fill the answer in the blank. Jadi kita harus jawab pertanyaan yang ada di titik-titik itu, begitu. Okay. The next is the answer is actually short. So we have to answer the questions in a brief. Don't answer the questions in a long explanation because it's called essay. Okay, so what is the advantages of short answer questions? Okay, the first is short answer questions are relatively fast to mark and can be marked by different assessor, as long as the questions are set in such a way that all alternative answer can be considered by the assessor. The second, short answer questions are also relatively easy to set compared to many assessment methods. The third, short answer questions can be used as a part of formative and supermative tests, as the structure of a short answer questions are very similar to examinations questions. And the last, unlike the multiple choice questions, in short answer questions there is no guessing, but the students must supply an answer. Okay, so how about the disadvantages? Okay, the first is short answer questions are only suitable for questions that can be answered with short responses. The second, short answer questions are typically used for assessing knowledge only, and students may often memorize short answer question with not learning. So the students can memorize the materials, but they don't learning seriously. And the next is accuracy of assessment may be influenced by handwriting and spelling skills. And the last, there can be time management issues when answering short answer questions. All right, so how about the essay task? Okay, the explanations of essay test will be presented by my partner Milda Puspita Sari. For Milda Puspita Sari as the second speaker, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Citra Putrami, as the moderator. The next explanation is about essay test. So, what is essay test? According to William Wiersama, essay test is a test that requires the student to structure a rather long written response up to several paragraphs. And then, how about the characteristic? The characteristic of essay test, there are three characteristics. The first is student answers small number of questions. The second is the script are written in the student own style, words, and usually in his own handwriting. And the last is the student are considerably free to organize their own answer. Next, Citra.
Wait, Milda, I forgot to explain about how to design a good short answer question. So please give me a time, and you can continue your explanations after I explain about these materials first. Okay? Wait a
Okay.
minute. Okay, so how to decide a good short answer questions? The first is design short answer questions. The first is design short answer items which are appropriate assessment of the learning objective. The second, make sure the content of the short answer question measure knowledge appropriate to the desired learning goal. The third, express the questions with clear wordings and language which are appropriate to the student's population. The fourth, ensure there is only one clearly correct answer in each question. The fifth, ensure that the item clearly specifies how the question should be answered briefly. The sixth, consider whether the positioning of the item blank promote efficient scoring. And the last is write the instructions clearly so as to specify and desired knowledge and specificity of response. Well, that's all the way how to design a good short answer questions. Okay, thank you, Milda, for your time. You can continue your explanations. It's about type of essay questions.
Okay, the next explanation is about type of essay questions. According to C.C. William, 1933 and 1941, identified 10 types of essay question, which he arranged in order from simple to complex. This question begin with, the first is what, who, when, which, where. Second is list, the third outline, the fourth describe, the fifth contrast, the sixth compare, the seventh discuss, the eighth develop, the ninth summarize, and the last is evaluate. And there are two types of essay tests. The first is restricted response, and the second is extended response. Okay, so what is restricted response? Restricted response is in this type, the questions are so structured that the students are limited. The scope of the response is defined and restricted. Jadi di restricted response, pertanyaan yang ada dalam restricted response ini sangat terstruktur sehingga siswanya akan sangat terbatas dalam menjawab. Contohnya, for example, mention the intrinsic elements of novel. Sebutkan unsur intrinsik dalam sebuah novel. So you just need to mention the elements, not to explain it. Or the other example is mention two types of essay test. So you just mention it and not explain it. And the next is extended response. So what is extended response? Extended response usually called as free response. In this type of essay, the student is free to develop their mind. So the student can answer like there are no limit in this type. So the student is free to using their word, to using their mind, to using their own argument. Jadi siswanya di sini akan tidak dibatasi. Mereka diperbolehkan untuk menggunakan kata-kata mereka sendiri, menggunakan pemahaman mereka, dan pengetahuan yang mereka ketahui. The next, Citra. Okay, next. What is? According to Arifin 2009, subjective tests can take various forms, namely restricted response items and extended response items, like I explained before. And according to Hidayat et al., 1994, the description test is divided into two forms. And according to Arifin 2009, these two forms are part of a limited form of description because the grouping is only based on the approach or method of scoring. And that to type is non-objective essay question or BUNO and objective essay question or BUO. So what is non-objective essay question? Non-objective essay question is the task that which demands the student to giving the answer based on the argument, mind, and also the personal view. And objective essay question. Objective essay question or PUO is the type of the task that which have answer group with certain formula. This form question can make the answer key and also the scoring way to correct it in different person and also the same value. Okay, that's all the explanation, Citra.
Okay, thank you, Milda. And the next explanations is about steps in subjective tests. So the materials will be presented by Santi as the third speaker. So for Santi, time is yours.
There are several steps in giving score to the object description from based on Alvin. First, write all the keyword or the possibility right answer clearly to each question. Second, every right keyword get one score, no help score to unperfect answer. The answer just give one score or perfect answer. Another answer is zero. Next, If one question has some sub-question, detail the keyword of the question answer in some keyword sans answer and make the score. And lastly, add all keyword score which set at this question. This score is challenge maximum score. Next, disadvantage atau kekurangan menggunakan tes subjektif, yaitu a tester marker should be just and not have sight. Artinya, penanda tidak dapat mengevaluasi berdasarkan latar belakang siswa, nama, atau mungkin sesuatu yang terjadi. Kemudian tanda ujian hendaknya menandai setiap jawaban dari setiap orang secara konsisten dengan kesiagaan penuh, ketegasan, dan keadilan yang sama untuk melakukan evaluasi tersebut. Kemudian selanjutnya, disadvantage atau keuntungan dari menggunakan tes subjektif, yaitu efektif untuk mengukur keterampilan pengetahuan siswa untuk penerapan dalam pemecahan masalah. Kemudian pertanyaan ujian juga mengukur keterampilan menulis bahasa dari tester. Kemudian tes subjektif ini biasanya menyelidiki keterampilan siswa dalam pengetahuan yang menyerap daripada hanya menyimpan informasi dan mengingat saja. Tes subjektif ini memungkinkan siswa untuk menjelaskan pemahaman mereka lebih baik daripada tes objektif. Itu saja teman-teman yang saya sampaikan keuntungan dan kekurangan tes subjektif. Untuk lebih lengkapnya teman-teman bisa baca di paper kami yang telah kami kirim. Next, how to make essay test. Avoid open-ended question, let the student answer the same question, score all the answer to each question for all students at a time, do not allow your feeling or emoticon to influence your making, avoid the distraction when making. And the next, when to use essay question. Use essay question in the measure of complex assessment when its distinctive feature of freedom of response is required. Second, essay questions should also be used to measure those learning outcomes that cannot be measured by objective this item.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's all our explanations about subjective tests. And if you have any questions, you can drop your answer in the chat box. Okay, thank you for your nice attention and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.